So a lot of good records have come out this year. Let's find out what made our top list. So it was inevitable. We have a top tier list, but there are a few rules. Rule number 1, reissues count. Rule number 2, have fun.
Yeah.
So here's the list of our favorite records that came out in 2023. So my list starts out with something that flew a little bit under the radar. It's Jeff Rosenstock's Hell Mode. You never know when he's gonna drop an album. I think the last like 4 records he's dropped, you just saw it come out of nowhere.
Yeah, he likes surprises.
I think this is, in my opinion, his heaviest record, or at least has some of the heaviest tracks he's ever released. And I hear really big hints of Bomb the Music Industry, which is his old band, which everybody should listen to. Yes. I ended up getting the Early Bird Special.
My first pick of my fave of 2023 was the reissue of Lucy Dacus, her album Historian, which is like a top favorite of mine. I probably listened to the song Night Shift a million times in a row.
Reissues count.
Oh, it was the 5th anniversary, and it's great because it kind of has a lyric in there talking about in 5 years. And so like she came out with that, you know, repress in 5 years. So
good job.
Yeah.
So if you've been watching our channel for quite some time, you know that we have an eclectic taste in music. The one genre I have trouble getting into is country, but when I do find something that hits, it sticks. Earlier this year, I picked up Tyler Childers' Rustin' in the Rain. He is one of my favorite songwriters to come out of recent memory. He tells wonderful stories, he plays wonderful music, and I've heard a lot of complaints that this album was like too short and not that good, I guess. What? You know, real strong opinions there. But this is honestly one of my favorite releases of him. It came on this like swamp green vinyl that does not match the artwork at all.
That's kind of cool though. I like his stuff a lot.
But this is my kind of country.
Yeah.
This is the country that speaks to me.
Super folky.
Yep.
You know, fun. It's really fun. I've always liked his music.
You're fun.
You're fun. This one didn't come out in 2023. It's a rather old album.
Okay.
But the first time it was pressed on vinyl was in 2023. Isley Combination. It is so good. So good.
And it's a music on vinyl press?
Yeah, it is. And I'm so excited. The album artwork on it is my favorite. Sherry is one of my favorite artists. Like, I love all of her stuff, which is really cool. She just got accepted to take tattoo lessons.
Nice.
Yeah, so we might need to go out to Texas to get a tattoo from my favorite lady.
This was one of my favorite, like, straight rock and roll albums to be released in 2023. It's like the Black Keys, if they weren't boring and heavier, is the best way I can describe it. This is Yes and by 68. Another kind of came out of nowhere for me. One of those bands that, in my opinion, just get better with each release. Check this out. Has some of the coolest artwork. It looks like one of those notebooks you used to draw in middle school.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Check this album out. It is phenomenal.
So our queen, Britney, just released some, you know, a very controversial memoir lately, right?
Yeah.
So like, and then before that, she released the freaking whole discography on vinyl, a whole reissue campaign. I got Blackout first, and that's one of my tops. I think if I would have also had Circus, if I would have bought Circus, it would be in here too. Yeah, I just remember listening to that whole album on repeat when it first came out.
Just sitting in your bed.
No, it was like driving to work in my Jeep, sweating because I didn't have AC.
Former Jeep owner here. So if you saw our last video, you know that we've just been buying up all of Noble Records exclusives. We did not talk about my favorite one this year though. So this kind of teeters on reissue / never actually released, I think, until it came out. Sudden Death, Suddenly, So the story, and I'll tell it really quickly, there was this search for the American version of Black Sabbath. This band was one of the finalists. They went into the studio and recorded a whole album, and it just never saw the light of day. If you're into Sabbath, you will really like this. It's rough around the edges, but at its core, it's so much fun to listen to.
One of my most anticipated albums of 2023. Paramore, This Is Why. When they released that single on YouTube, like the premiere, it showed late. So I remember sitting in my car at a gas station with my phone waiting for it to premiere so I can watch it for the first time.
You were texting the link to me, and I was like, we can just watch this later.
Oh, and I was like, no, I can't wait till later. I have to watch it right now.
But
I have to hear this first Paramore song in so long.
It's got this weird, like, Talking Heads, like, post-punk vibe to it.
And I am there for it.
Yeah, no. This one definitely falls into the reissue category. I have been waiting for this to come out on vinyl since I was in college.
Yeah, I remember you being so excited.
I wouldn't shut up about it.
Yeah, and it rightfully so. It's great.
Forgive Durden presents Razia's Shadow. It is like this epic story. I don't even really know the creation of a universe or the world. It features like Casey Crescenzo of The Receiving End of Sirens and Deer Hunter, Brendan Urie, Max Bemis, like every person that was big in like the 2000s email pop punk scene was featured on this album. It is a musical.
Yeah, which is shocking. You normally hate musicals.
The story's great, the music's great, and I am enthralled. Every time I put this on, I will just sit in front of the speakers, like with my eyes closed, and just picture this story.
It's so good.
So good and tasty.
My next one's a twofer.
Cheater.
No.
You're cheating.
Okay, it's a 1.5-er. Boy Genius, The Record. It's their first full-length album. Before that, they only had an EP. They released this one. And then they released another EP that was called The Rest, which is like the rest of the record.
That's 2 releases, though.
Yeah, but like...
We agreed we would do 5 each.
Well, that's clumped together because it's The Rest.
We're just breaking rules. I remember you throwing the phone at me when they're like, they're doing promo shots. And they were recreating like famous Nirvana.
Yeah, when they were like standing on like a corner of a street in LA or something, and they redid that. And that was like the first time that they did anything in a while. So everybody was freaking out.
We can't have anyone freak out there, okay?
Is it time for our honorable mentions?
That was very enthusiastic, and I love it.
Well, I mean, because I'm excited about these.
So these last 2 records are things that almost made it into our top 5, but didn't quite get there, and I think they both need to be talked about.
Oh, yeah.
Mine is not a reissue, though. Mine is Tsunami's self-titled LP. Who the heck is Tsunami? I'm sure most of you are wondering. They're a hardcore band. This album was released on Triple B Records, phenomenal hardcore label. If you're fans of like Madball or Hatebreed, or even, I'd go out on a limb and say like early Turnstile,
Ooh, okay.
you'll like how aggressive this is.
Yeah,
it is
it's
a
fun.
very aggressive full length.
This one almost made it to my list because it is one of my favorites from her. I went and saw this tour when she did it. It was great. Miley Cyrus. Bangers.
And you love bangers.
I love bangers.
So like,
and then Miley comes, it's a reissue.
it has my favorite Miley Cyrus song too. And apparently it's a bonus track on this album.
Which one's your favorite song?
23. Put on my J's and dance a whole lot of ways.
That's like,
Come on.
yeah, I think that's one of my favorite twos.
Yeah. I'm also just noticing like the huge contrast between our picks. She's like sad girl, like
Mine were all
beautiful
women.
music. All women this
All
year.
women picked.
Hell yeah. So there you have it. There are our top picks for 2023. What are your top 10 for 2023? It can be books, it can be movies, it could be records, could be video games.
Ooh,
Let us know down in the comments.
we want to know.
We'll try to check everything out that we can.
Yeah, I love the comments.
My name is Matt.
I'm Stacy.
We're Vinyl Reckoning.
Yes,
Have a good night, everybody.
good night.